All right, there we go. I'll try this again. Good morning, Mission Control. Uh, Woke up this morning and I was thinking, hey, you know what? It'd be nice just to do a live stream to see what everyone's up to out there. Maybe give the subscribers, the hardcore subscribers, a chance just to ask direct questions, have a nice little back and forth. Really don't have any structure or anything to this particular live stream like what I did last time. I'm also trying out, what is this called? It's last time I did this, I used Streamlabs OBS, which is kind of a modified version of OBS Studio, which is a streaming platform that you can use to do streams and share your desktop and share different video sources and all that. And the Streamlab ones has a lot more features for like gamers, you know, people who are like live streaming their gaming systems and everything. And That was nice, but because of the bandwidth limitations that we have, I'm on satellite right now. I'm talking to you live over satellite. Our signal is going from my house 42,500 miles up, 42,500 miles down, and then distributing across the planet. So that's a nice little distance to go. Can you guys see and hear me? Is a nice little audio video check here. Am I coming through okay? On my screen, I just see a big scrolling wheel, but what I learned on the last live stream that we did is that buffering probably takes about a minute or so, and then you guys can still hear me. Look at that phone, man. We got everything happening here today. You guys can still hear and see me. It's just a little delayed, so I don't want to create those big, huge, I'm waiting for buffering slots. See, we got five folks joining us. Rob, you're definitely first here today on this screen here. I've got my chats here. Uh, so if you guys got anything, hit me up. Otherwise, kind of go over what I did this week. Let's see here. I've been working for the neighbor, and we got some fencing done. Lots of fencing. You guys will see some videos coming up on that. And Rob asked me, you know, are we, how far behind real time are we? And when you guys watch the videos, and right now the count is 8 videos. As far as that's the easiest way to measure how far behind you guys are in real time. Let's see. So yeah, we got some fence built. Still a lot more to do there. I'm really not excited about the south line. I need to clear out our south line on the fence, and in order to do that, I got to get my chainsaw sharp. So I actually went over to Cody and talked to him about sharpening saws. You know, I've grown up around chainsaws. My dad's taught me how to use chainsaws to various levels of me paying attention. You know, I can wield them just fine. I know the basic safety precautions to take, and I can fall a tree if I need to. Um, I don't usually take on big trees, but I can take, you know, I think I've taken like a tree, like, what is that, like a foot in diameter, maybe a little bit bigger than that. I've done falling on those. Always gets the heart rate going. Very cool to see though. The biggest problem I have with saws is sharpening them. You know, getting those chains really sharp has been something that is difficult for me to go through and do. So that is something I'm reaching out to people. I spoke to Cody about it. He let me borrow his still sharpener, so I'll probably do a video on that and showing you guys how crazy it is before and after. In fact, I need to write that down. Let's take a note. Take a note. Take a note to do a video on sharpening. I think there's probably a lot of people out there that are probably like me, you know, that grew up or maybe even didn't grow up with it, but you know, you got into a spot where now you need to use a saw. You know, taking chains in and getting them sharpened, that's the easiest thing to do. You get a bunch of chains and then you just cycle through them and you drop them off at the chain shop and or the saw shop and they get them all sharpened up for you. But yeah, it costs money, and we're trying to save money. So it's a better. You really, if you're going to use a saw, you should know how to sharpen your own saw blade or saw chain. Excuse me. So there's probably a lot of folks out there kind of like me that are used to just dropping off the chains and getting them sharpened, but now we need to sharpen them the good old-fashioned way. So we'll get that figured out, And I've reached out to some other folks as well that were working on some stuff with saws and kind of helping me learn more, maybe some collaboration there to really help me get up to speed, be better at it. I think we're going to have to do a lot more of that work around the ranch, just kind of get the saw out, do some cleaning of the fence line for sure. That has to be done. It has to be done for the neighbor. But we also have our south line that needs to be done. And then there's some forests that I have that really should be tended to. And speaking of tending, so like uh, Mrs. Martian and I, Alicia, we watched a video is Back to Eden. You guys probably have heard of that. If not, do a search for it on YouTube. It's excellent. Just really, really great information there for gardening and taking care of your property. And the basic premise is God created a beautiful thing here, and all we do is screw it up. So if we get back to the basics, so to speak, back to Eden, right? The things really just grow on their own. That was the premise. You walk out in the forest, you don't see anybody there really taking care of it. It just grows. And you look at all the vegetation and all the life and the fungus and everything that happens in a forest, and it's just amazing what's going on there. So what we want to do is try to replicate that. And what this guy Back to Eden did is he really, is actually an answer to one of the questions that I had in a video that you guys will see coming up when we're getting our garden set up. Is like, we bought dirt. I hate buying dirt. Who wants to buy dirt? Like, hey, you know what? I just spent $200 on dirt. I mean, it's not a feeling that makes you feel like like you spent your money wisely. Like, I just bought dirt. And the old timers, as I call them, right? Not out of disrespect, out of nothing but respect. It's like calling your dad the old man. I mean, I did that, and it wasn't to slight him. It was out of respect, like recognizing that he is wiser than I am. So the old timers, they are wiser than I am, and so what they do to make dirt. Getting back to the pioneers, that's kind of my great grandfather. They weren't pioneers coming across the plains, but they were there dealing with the Great Depression and prior to that, so they grew their own food. That was a big deal. And making good, healthy soil is a huge part of growing your own food. It's the most critical part, that and microbes. I mean, I know when I first started growing food, I thought it was as simple as, put seed in dirt, give seed water, sun, and magic happens, and genetics take over, and it's just that's how easy it is. But that is, of course, anyone who's tried to grow your own food knows that's a total lie. You have pests that you have to deal with, insects and disease and fungus and all these things that the guy at Back to Eden, he really doesn't have a hard time with because of how he's growing stuff. So in order to do what he wants, what he does, a key thing you need is really solid compost. And we have compost piles, but that takes years, for us because we don't have a mixer or anything to really mix it all with to decompose. And there's not enough of it to really get the heat going that you need in a solid compost pile. So you'll see that coming up in a video, how we have ours separated. But no, we need to get a chipper. And I've reached out to a company. I'm hoping, Woodland Mills, if you guys know anyone at Woodland Mills, I'm hoping that we can add value to them by showing people, their chipper. They have a 4-inch chipper that goes on the back of a tractor. I'm hoping to get that so I can do some chipping. And back to the saw thing, this all relates to the saw thing, is, actually cutting stuff off the south line, starting to clear that forest of the brush and stuff that is a ladder fuel, so it's not safe for firefighter for wildland season. And I'm used to be a wildland firefighter a long time ago, so I care about safe space. I care about ladder fuels. And right now in my small section of forest that I have, there's a tremendous amount of ladder fuels, which are not good. You want to minimize ladder fuels. And they also take away nutrients and minerals from the soil that could go into your proper trees and forests. So if I could get out there with the saw, which means I have to sharpen the saw, I could quickly go through, and more safely, because a sharp saw is a safe saw, and actually cut some of that brush out and then chip it. And then what we want to do is we want to put it in all those. Well, you haven't seen these yet. You guys got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Trees. So we got a bunch of trees, fruit trees and nut trees. Come in, and we're putting those up, or they're in the ground. And our soil, if you look at our soil, it's come a long way. When we first got here, is just super dusty, super fine, kind of a clay. It has another word in it, mix, and it in the winter it's just muck. Like you walk out in it, it just sticks to everything. You get taller and taller and taller and taller as you walk in it. It's just like Iraq. It's like loam. That's it. Sandy loam, kind of clay mixture, and not a lot of no topsoil really. Uh, it's fertile. It has good stuff in it. You can grow stuff in it. It's just it compacts. And what we've learned is that compacted soil is horrible. There's no air in it, and when there's no air, you don't get your microbes, no fungus. Then you don't really get the healthy soil that the plants thrive in. And what we're seeing is everywhere that we've planted grass, or recovered grass, I should say, because everything that around this house used to be just a field. So we put in a yard, and by put in a yard, I mean we put in a fence line, and then we put in a sprinkler, and we overseeded, and we're just recovering what was field and converting into yard. And wherever we've done that, you start to, if you could dig it up with a shovel, you see underneath of it how healthy it's starting to get. And when we mow the yard, we let all those clippings from the yard just fall back in there as a natural compost. The yard is getting healthier. There's more worms. When I put in the trees, there's a lot of earthworms starting to show up in there, which means that you're starting to get that natural processes are starting to take over. And every year, it seems to be getting better and better and better. So if we can put these chips down where the trees are at, what we can do is we can retain more water. And then those chips, if you chip them right and you mix it with like our compost from the horses and the cows, then you create a really lush, really rich, nutrient-rich compost that over time just starts to decay, and that starts to go down into the soil further and further, and you get more of those microbes, more of those worms, and everything starts to work the way that God intended it all to work, and you get this really beautiful result. So go check out Back to Eden. It'd be a good time. I see we got 19 viewers on. Thanks for the likes. Make sure you guys hit the like button. And also, I got chat up here. My computer is definitely buffering, probably like your guys's is, like your guys's are. Excuse me, proper English. So 22 new viewers. Let me know where you guys are from, where you hail from. Who do we got online? How far are we reaching today? Always like to see that. But we've got super chat turned on as well as chat. So please do. If you're multitasking, kind of got me in one ear while you're working on something else. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to ask, this is all about you guys today. I'm just talking. It's like YouTube therapy, I think I called it. Getting online and just talking to you guys. This is a really nice thing to do. I've never met you, but it's really nice to do that. So anyway, let's see here. We've gone over, got fencing in. We still have a lot more to do there. Clearing the south line. We got to get that done. Sharpening saws. Getting the chipper going and chipping so that we can do the Back to Eden thing around our trees that we just put in. And also, we're going to do the Back to Eden thing in our raised beds. Our raised beds are amazing. And, as long as we keep putting material on the top of those, like what he's done in Back to Eden, then we will be able to maintain those grow beds forever and ever and ever and have really good results in there. The Back to Eden thing makes me, you keep it going, you could almost get rid of those grow beds altogether and completely change the garden into a more natural garden. It just takes time. So we might consider, maybe extending our garden, making it bigger so that we could do some more of the Back to Eden stuff, maybe experiment. So that'd be an interesting thing to compare, here's the raised beds, here's the Back to Eden, and see how they do. But I think they probably both do fairly well. So going to need to do some more chainsaw. I'd love to get a sawmill. Honestly, I have some projects kind of moving on. Mrs. Martian always wanted a pergola, and we obviously can't afford that. But we got some fallen trees from this winter that I would be great to go, cut and turn into some lumber and maybe give her a little surprise. I don't think she'll be watching this, so I don't think I need to worry about giving that surprise away, but it would be nice. But also, a big project that we need to do this year, and it's super duper important given the world events that are transpiring, is a root cellar. Like, we have two refrigerators, and we use the one right now in the garage for storing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, random stuff. It's nice having two, but it's not good enough for keeping your vegetables, excuse me, your root vegetables or your fruit, because they just eventually start excreting that. What is that? What is that? Ethylene. I think it's ethylene. And they start going bad. And once one lets that out, then all of it starts rotting. And you want to minimize that. You can do that with humidity and temperature control and darkness. And the fridge just doesn't seem to work as well as what people are reporting on these root cellars. So I'd like to build a root cellar, but doing that inexpensively is a very big challenge that I'm trying to think through. So I have some materials here that I think I might be able to convert into an underground root cellar. But we're going to need some timbers to reinforce it and also make it look good. So it'd be cool to get a sawmill. And I know that's not very Martian-like, but these are things that I'm now considering, would these be a good thing for us to do? I think we definitely have to get the root cellar going. We also got to get canning, so we've got a lot of canning that we need to consider doing. A lot of food preservation stuff that we need to do. So we're starting to ramp up our getting ready for winter, I guess you could say. Mrs. Martian's working on the garden. That's coming along. She's going to be using some square foot gardening methods. We're going to do some videos on that. I don't know if I'm really sold on that method. It seems like a lot of work and maybe not get the full benefit, but we'll give it a fair shake. I'll give it a fair shake. She's convinced it's a good thing. So we'll see how that all goes. Just do a quick audio check. Can you guys, I am not seeing any chats come through, and that is odd for our subscribers. If you guys can see and hear me, can you say something there? I'm not seeing it come through. I'll try refreshing one of my screens here. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything there. So hopefully you guys can hear and see me. It looks like you can. So I'm going to just keep going here. Hello to our 21 viewers out there. It's nice to have you here. So yeah, fencing and chipping and saw cutting. Love to get a sawmill. Love to get some timbers cut and do some construction with those. But we've got a lot of fence to repair and a corral to repair. Horses just love tearing that thing. I think it's the cows. I think they like rubbing up against the fence there as a scratcher. Even though they have a back scratcher, they like scratching on everything. So lesson to anyone out there who wants to raise cattle, it ends up being kind of a pain. They like to rub on everything, so make it all strong. If there's an edge on it, they like to rub on it, and yeah, crazy cows. I made the mistake of when we got our first cow, I called them stupid. Like, cows are stupid. I told my wife, oh, you don't have to worry about that. Cows are stupid. Yeah. No, they're not. They are super intelligent, and they are super curious. Very curious critters. So if you get into cows, then be prepared, because they can really get in some trouble, those cows. Oh, what else we got going on here? We need to do a video on sharpening, and we're going to do a video on the square foot gardening. We'll do that for you guys. If you guys got any other video requests, let's see here. Why 3D printing? I know that was another request that we had from somebody on Facebook, wanting to know why I chose 3D printing as my prototype method rather than others. We do a video on that. Let's see here. We're going to be building a small vineyard for our neighbor. We've got some vines that we bought that are in our garden. You'll see that in the garden video. But we're going to be putting a larger vineyard in for them. So I got to go over there. I might go over there today. A little wet outside right now, which is great. So thankful for the rain. When you're into farming and ranching, you really appreciate the rain. Some days you can hate it, but other days, like right now, you really, in spring, you really want it. And then in winter, you don't want too much of it in spring because you can't plant, but you need it to keep the soil moist. And in summer, you really, you're praying for it almost all the time. So I see somebody put in a super chat, but by golly, I cannot for the life of me. My screen is not refreshing, so I am so sorry. I'm gonna see if I can do something here to see it some way, shape, or form. Yeah, I'm not. I see we got 28 viewers, but I got no comments. So whoever gave the super chat, thank you so much. I'm not seeing it come through here. My screen is doing some weird funky stuff. Like I said, I'm coming to you over satellite, so there's 30 people on right now, and we're talking over satellite, just like I was on Mars, baby. The delay is not as bad, but it is bad. So anyway, let's see, where was I at? I was talking about stuff. That sawmill would be awesome. So I've looked at 3 sawmills. I've looked at was it Norwood, Woodland Mills, and Woodmax, I think is what it is. What is it? What one is it? Woodmiser. Yeah, I think that's from Wood Mills or something like that. Max Wood or something. Woodmiser LT15, the Norwood Lumberman MN26, and the Woodland Mills HM130 Max. And boy, I would love to get any one of those. Buying it is just not an option. So I got to try to find a way to add value to them and expose people to those capabilities. I really think one of the things that's unique about my channel. So that would be something to pull up here. Let me get this going so you can see. Go to my channel, and then if I switch this over here, here we go. Boy, this thing's really cool, this OBS. It's just nice to be able to share this stuff with you. So, hey, if you didn't know, I went through and actually updated all the playlists. So there's 2 ways you can do this, right? And I've got to look over at my 3rd monitor, so I'm not trying to be rude to you guys. It's just where the screen share is at. I recently uploaded is the place you can go and you can see everything. Every video that we do shows up here. So this is the most recent video that we did. So you don't have to go click on videos and sort, it's all right here. But I went through and I redid all of our playlists, trying to make it easier for you guys to navigate and for new people to navigate the channel. And so I did trout aquaponics here. I think that's something unique about us. At least when I look at YouTube, there are people out there doing aquaponics, of course, but it seems like we've kind of really pushed the edge there with the rainbow trout. So I thought people are seeing value in that. All right, yeah, I'll definitely be checking out Starlink here. I see my studios connecting, reconnecting, and I'm at 1839 kilobits per second here. Very, very slow rate. So what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, I can walk through Frontcaster. I can definitely do videos on where I need to clear and do all that. Cell tower locations, that's a different story altogether. But I do have a cell phone repeater here. It just the LTE, for some reason the upload, even though we end up getting like 3-4 bars of LTE, which you would think would be enough to do a great stream, it just doesn't work. In fact, I tried at the very beginning of this live stream, I was trying to go with the LTE just to see maybe it's different. It still sucks. Something really weird there. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it would. Ice fire. Indeed. Yes, I'm so sorry, everybody. I really wanted to have a good chat this morning with everyone, but it is just being really horrible here, and I don't have any way to really change it. So I think kind of when the cards are down, maybe you should know when to fold them. As Kenny Rod, he passed away, man. That sucks. The gambler passed away. Man, it's 2020, year to remember. So anyway, oh, okay, it's bouncing up to live. Oh, that's good. Oh, seller locations. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, Icefire, it's good to have you on a live stream. I'm sorry that, we're not having a good quality one like we did last time. Really apologize for that. I don't have any way to make it better. I dropped the quality down quite a bit to 480p, which is suggested from others that have the similar type of connectivity issues, and it looks like we're still having a problem. I'm just reading comments here. Sorry. What video go over have to design the most detail? We don't have. I have not done a video that goes over the full design. Dice Blue. I don't have a video that says here's everything. There's a few reasons for that. I talked about it in a video when I first got going. Is I can't tell you everything about how to go build one because this is a startup and we are searching for venture capital. So to pay for everything, you got to have money to pay. The world takes money to pay for things. So I can't give away everything. What I can do is show you kind of what we're doing, and I do intend to do a virtual walkthrough, so you can see the game plan. The render comment that I made earlier is real time in rendering, like getting in there and really making it look sharp, because I want you guys to see a nice product. That's the reason you don't have a video on it yet, but I will do. Put it on my little list here. LifePod 2 overview. And there'll also be some videos coming up and some social media sharing of the grow towers. You've seen the grow walls, and you can visualize, that's just one section that I printed. There's 3 of those that stack on top of each other to go into LifePod 2. And then there's 48 walls that go into LifePod 2, all the way along the long section of the trailer. So you can kind of visualize that. But I'll get you a video on LifePod 2. Yep. Okay. Yeah, probably not, Rob. But it still sucks that he passed away. I really enjoyed Kenny Rogers' music, so that's kind of dating me. I can't fix a GoPro, but I can tell you I could fix the Rhodes mic, and I was pretty impressed with myself doing that. Taking that thing apart, my friend helped me take it apart, and then I got the parts to put it back together. That was pretty cool, doing some soldering there. That was neat. So, okay, looks like we're kind of caught up with all the comments, about an hour long here that we spent with each other. I'm so sorry. I pray that the rendering here when YouTube is done with this captures everything. What I saw last time is, even though we had a lot of buffering there, watching the video after the fact seemed to help streamline everything and make for a better experience. There's not much more I can do on this side. If people do have suggestions on setting changes, we've changed the bit rate, changed the form or the density of video coming from high definition to standard definition. I've used cellular LTE. I've used the satellite is the best based on the testing that we did, and even today. Let's see here. I'm really quite grateful for everybody. The channel continues to grow. Thank you for sharing and for sticking with us. I think there's a lot of good stuff in our future. I'm very hopeful, getting more hopeful. I feel like my feet were kind of pulled out from underneath of me with this whole world event, and it's taking me a little bit of time to connect all the dots in my head and figure out where we need to be, what we need to focus on. And I'm finding myself going back to the basics. Really, God, security, shelter, water, food, helping community. Those are basics. And from my brain, going back to the basics right now seems to be the right thing to do. Kind of the metaphor is if you're on an airplane and it's losing pressure, the masks drop out, and they always tell you put your mask on first, even if you have a kid next to you. You wanna take care of the other people first, and then take care of yourself. But if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people, right? And I don't want to be a burden on my community. I don't want to be the person who wasn't ready and didn't grow his own food, and then when things get really bad, you have to go ask for help, because then you're hurting your community and not helping them. So we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on those basics again.